Dave Harris.
Tim?
I was approached by your manager. It was your sister.
Yeah.
Got a hold of me on Facebook, of all places. Now, you know what? Facebook is what's such a wonderful place to talk and figure stuff out. And so many of our shoots nowadays have come on Facebook. Now, I want to take this time to tell people to get on our Kentucky Afield Facebook site. Now, a lot of those have come through my personal Facebook page, but we do have a Kentucky Afield Facebook page, and a lot of shoots are being set up. That's how we found out about you, and I'm so glad. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at this fantastic artwork. You know, you talk about various things, and we see various stages of artwork, and we can also see some stuff that I know was your early work. How in the world did you get into this carving game?
Well, all through grade school, high school, and even college, I was always artistically gifted, I guess. Right. But I always drew, but I never painted. And I like to hunt. And so naturally, when I got out of high school, and I started duck hunting, and I became a member of Ducks Unlimited. And I met several people that were on committees and so forth. And so I started seeing these decoys at the dinners that they had, and I just loved them. You know.
Did you ever bid on any of them?
Yes. But
was your wife okay with that?
No, but
but you did it anyway.
I did it anyway. I figured a slap on the wrist won't hurt too much. So you know, seeing the decoys at the DU dinners, I got inspired, and I said, you know, I bet I could do that. And so down the road, a friend of mine showed me a calendar he had gotten, and it had a carved decoy, a decorative decoy like this one here, that a guy named Alfred Ponte had done, and it was just amazing. It was a hen merganser, and I said right there, I said, I know what I need to do. I need to carve decoys.
Once you got into this world of carving, and once you found out that there are different types of carvings, this one here is so intricate, with all the separated feathers, with all the actual. Did you wood burn those lines into those feathers? It is so in depth. I can't imagine the scale and the effort it took to get this thing going. Just the attention to detail is fantastic.
Yes, it's a lot of work. I tell you, some of the guys can, like on these primary feathers, they can burn 100 lines per inch.
Gee.
Which I'm not that good, but it's pretty labor intensive.
Let's talk about the evolution of your artwork. This is one of your early. Is this your first?
That's one of the very first ones.
A wood duck. What year was this?
That was probably about 1985.
85. I wasn't even born in.
Well, see,
I'm
there
just
you go.
kidding. You can tell that you really have done your homework there.
You got to have good reference material. That's the key to everything, because you got to really know what a duck looks like, because each bird looks a particular way when it's on the water. You know, a widgeon's going to look different than a pintail. Pintail's going to look different than a canvasback. Canvasback's going to look different than a wood duck. So you have to know the essence of the species too that you're carving.
Out of all these, if you had to pick one that you had, somebody came in and said, show me your best work, or we're going to shoot you, which one would that be?
Oh boy. Well, I would definitely go with that little teal hen I just started, yes.
Let me grab that. Now, why this one?
Well, I've stayed away from hens intentionally because of the feather work. You know, it looks like a brown bird, but it's a heck of a lot more complicated than that.
Wow.
And so the drake birds usually are more colorful, but usually are easier to make look real. Now, this particular bird has turned out pretty good. I've still got some minor touches to do to it. So.
I still smell paint on this bird.
You probably do.
Now, am I not breaking any rules by touching it?
No.
Okay, so no oils on your hands or anything?
Well, that is a factor, but I'll let you slide this time. So.
Don't smack me.
Anybody else, I would have said, no, don't touch that bird.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And I'm going to let you set that back over there.
Sure, no problem. But yeah, I would have to say that that's probably one of the best I've done so far. And I'm really proud of this bird, the way it turned out.
How do you get around the eye area to look so realistic? I can imagine that's probably one of your...
That's a difficult area. You got to be real careful, because these glass eyes, they scratch real easy. Now that eye, you know, I actually drill a pretty big hole to set that eye in. And then I'll fill the hole up with clay, and then I'll put the fake eye, the glass eye in, and get it positioned, angled just the right way, because there are certain angles that duck eyes point. And then once I do that, I come around with plastic wood and smooth that out around there and shape it be careful not to scratch it.
What's your average amount of time that you have in a piece, or is there an average?
Normally on a bird like this pintail here, I can get it to this stage here in probably a few days. And that's not working continuously, so. And then once I get to this stage, you know, I might take forever to do just little minute details. And that's not because it needs to be there, it's because I want it there. Right. When I compete, I like to put more than what I need to into the bird.
Let's talk about how a project starts, how a particular, I've seen sketches on pieces of paper, I've seen blocks of wood. How does the whole process begin?
Well, usually like I wanted to do a hunting rig of mallards, so I started drawing up patterns, and this is a low-head drake. I keep drawing and erasing until I get it the way I like it. But then once I develop the pattern and I get it to where I like it, then I'll make a top view and then go to my block of wood and I'll actually glue the patterns onto the block of wood. I've got a top view and I've got a side view.
Oh, that keeps you straight in there.
Right. Once I cut that out on my bandsaw, I've got two planes I know that I don't need to break. And I could draw that plane on there of what I'm looking at when I'm looking at this view right here. This top view here is going to be a plane that runs about like this. It's going to come down up here to the tail. So I know this line here represents the outline of this decoy here. Now the top view here is this side view here. You know, there's certain planes on here that I don't want to disrupt. And like on the shoulder of this bird here, this is going to be the high spot. And that spot is this spot right here. So I'm going to leave that mark on there, and I'm not going to carve that away, but I'm going to round down to this set of feathers here. And I'm going to round to here because they've got a little indentation between their wings here. So I'll round this way and I'll round that way.
Now I can imagine as a hunter, you're like Audubon. You'd go out and shoot them before you paint them. You know, to have that bird in hand,
it helps
to understand that, and to be a nature lover, and to understand, you know, the actual makeup of that animal. As I'm looking here, they all have that, you know, they're getting ready to fly look. You know, that canvasback's kind of looking at me like, what are you doing over there? It's amazing the amount of life you've brought into, you know, an inanimate object, you know, a piece of wood.
Well, and the head is the key, because you have to get those eyes right. You have to get the head right, because that's where all the animation and life comes from on these decoys. It's in the head. You can do the best job ever on the body, but if your head doesn't look right, the whole decoy's not going to look right.
So as you've come through the years and observed nature, been a duck hunter, looked in all the books, been able to really capture the essence of that animal, what is your biggest challenge now as you move forward?
Well, I keep struggling trying to get as real a bird as I possibly can. In the category, well, I compete mainly in two categories now. The hunting decoys, which you can get by with just a moderate paint job on those because they're restricted that way. And the fancy birds like this wood duck, you know. And I really enjoy doing these because, you know, my goal is to make a decoy that someone's going to say, you know, you can't get any better, but really you can. Yeah, you're never finished with these decoys. I'm not finished with this one. I just had to put my brush down and stop and say done. So, but just getting the iridescence in these birds and getting the whole attitude of this wood duck right is what I strive for, and I really enjoy that. So, and making the bill's a difficult thing to do. And to make that bill look as real as possible, and to carve those nostrils, it takes a lot of patience to do that and do it well. So, and I'm still getting there. I still got a ways to go, but I'm getting there.
You know, I stopped by your house a while back, and there were a lot of awards sitting around, ribbons, awards. What's the award that you're proudest of?
That wood duck finished second best to show at the World Championships in 2012. in the contemporary decoy category. I was pretty proud of that.
But you're not going to put this on a string with a bunch of other stuff, throw it over your back and head to your favorite hunting
I've thought
hole.
about it. I've thought about having the fanciest decoy spread on the Ohio River, but no, I think my duck hunting days are over. The older I get, the wiser I get. I don't like cold weather anyway.
Oh, cold weather
so.
is, but I bet you'd be a lot more careful in your shot of your duck.
Definitely.
You would not want to ding one of these guys with a piece of...
Well, but then again, it gives it that essence, you know. You know, a little bit of shot in the decoy just gives it some history to it, so to speak.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is beautiful stuff, and I absolutely appreciate your time and sharing it with
Sure.
us and coming over here and showing the sportsmen, you know, if you appreciate hunting and fishing, you appreciate nature.
Sure, and
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
And I see that with your work, and we appreciate it so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.